from using Duolingo to almost fluent in the language. Is that impossible? Well, I did it. Let me show you the good, the bad, and how I almost quit. This is my Japanese learning journey. What is up, everyone? My name is Monamov, and I've been learning Japanese for the past 570 days straight. Believe it or not, I started learning Japanese with Duolingo. I know. This might seem a little bit sketchy, but believe me when I say this. Duolingo might be the best app for getting the feel for studying a language, meaning that you will need to figure out if you want to continue learning this language or you don't. On Duolingo, I've learned my hiragana and katakana, and after that, I've moved to an app that I will stick for the rest of my language learning journey, and that is Anki. Imagine having an ability to remember basically everything that you see. Well, Anki allows you to do exactly that. Using spaced repetition system with algorithms that can be tuned to your liking, it does magic. And by magic, I mean it puts a thing from a short-term memory to a long-term memory, guaranteeing that you will never forget this thing. Well, almost. Anki is 100% customizable. That's why I think it's the #1 app on the market. My first deck was N5 Mia deck, and that was an audio deck, meaning that I had to recall a word from the audio. It had around 1000 words, and I finished that deck in about 2 months, and after that, my biggest problem has arrived. The rest of Tango decks were worth real money, and I didn't have any money just laying down for a deck. And then I saw it. Probably the best deck ever created by a man at that time, and it was the core 2K6K deck. Since I already knew about 1000 words from the previous deck, I had to delete the words that I already knew in my new deck. And I did that manually, which is definitely something that you shouldn't do because there are actually add-ons that do that thing for you. But I was a newbie at that time and didn't know any better. Fast forward to 100 days from that time, I've learned 2000 words, meaning that I did 20 words per day. After all that time, I realized that I was missing something. You see, English is not my first language, and the method that I used to learn English was just binge watching YouTube for 5 hours a day for 5 years straight. But it was a success. And so I asked myself, why not implement the method that I was using while learning English into my Japanese learning routine? But at that time, I was in my last year of high school, meaning that I had to study for my finals, the results of which will determine my future. It's either I go to the uni, either I serve in the military, which that is why on June 13th, I've bought a yearly subscription to a tool that will save me hours from a flashcard hell. That tool is Migaku. But what's that? You may ask me. Imagine this. You're watching a YouTube video in your target language and you come across a word that you don't know. If you don't use Migaku, then you have to go to the dictionary, type in the word that you don't know, select the translation, paste that into Anki, select the word that you just translated, put that into Anki. Perhaps you can generate some sentences with that word using ChatGPT and paste that into Anki again. And you got the point. It's a tedious task that will take you ages. But with Migaku, you can do that with just one click. Yes, if you don't have money for Migaku, you can use Yomitan, which is just a free alternative that is levels below the current version of Migaku, but it will get the job done. And that's when my immersion journey started. After just 2 weeks of immersing, I felt like I doubled my knowledge in the language. 2 weeks! I stopped doing 2K6K deck because the words that I was mining were all lapping with the words that I had to learn with the core 2K6K deck, which was just a mess. Doing 30 cards per day and watching anime that I liked, like Death Note, Frieren, Spirited Away. It was the time when I truly felt like I was having fun learning Japanese, and I could do that for hours. And so after I've reached about 2K sentences mined, I've decided to switch to vocab cards. It was a lot faster to review, and if you didn't know the word, you could just listen to the sentence audio, which gave away the context, which is extremely important to actually get the feel for the word. And my paradise continued until 3 months into college. I got into the High School of Economics, which is the #1 university in Russia. And so I was doing my uni stuff and immersing and doing Japanese at the same time. And here came the winter's exam week, which involved calculus that I absolutely dreaded. And that is why I stopped adding new cards for some time. Keep in mind that it has been 145 days of daily learning for 1 hour of immersing and about 30 minutes on reviewing the words in Anki. And so I stopped adding new cards when I was already at 4,350 cards in, which in total puts it at 7,500 cards. During that time, I've realized a couple of things about reviewing cards. Reviewing words should be only a part of your language learning routine, taking less than 1/2 of the devoted time for language learning. And the time that you devote to inputting, immersing, should be maximized. And the second one is that you always press fail if you either couldn't read the word or you couldn't understand it, because eventually it will snowball into a huge problem if you don't input enough. On December 16th, I have failed my calculus exam with misery, getting only 2 points out of 10. And that was absolutely devastating for me because I couldn't even stand a thought of getting kicked out of my dream college that my parents paid so much money for. So I decided to temporarily stop adding new cards and watching any content at all, and only getting back after I feel confident enough that I will score a decent grade when I will retake the exam. In the middle of January, I decided to take a whole new approach to my immersion. Since I didn't want to spend any time on adding new flashcards or watching videos with subtitles, because in the next couple of days my life could potentially change for the absolute worst. I was spending less than 10 minutes on reviewing my cards, and that was basically all that I had to do. But I still had some time between preparing for my exam and doing my uni stuff, and that's when I decided to start watching Japanese anime without subtitles. Since one episode took me about 23 minutes, it was perfect because I could actually watch an episode while I was eating or maybe commuting from uni to home. Plus, I could actually focus on my ability to understand spoken Japanese without any subtitles or lookups. Fast forward to January 29th, when I actually retook the exam and I got 8 out of 10, meaning that I didn't have to worry about any exams and just focus on my Japanese. Or so I thought. You see, in my uni we have 4 exam weeks in each season, and the spring exam week was coming. You can say to me, well, minimum calculus was done, it's over. The rest of the exams are easy, right? Believe it or not, there's this one particular subject that should be the hardest subject in the whole entire curriculum. Basically, it was supposed to be like 2 times as hard as my calculus exam, which I had to retake, so I was scared even more. That's why I decided to focus less on making new cards and more on immersing. It was a time when I bought myself a first ebook to read manga with, and so I've read through the entirety of Chainsaw Man, and from Bleach I've read through the whole 1,000-year Blood War arc, and I finished Bleach, which was pretty insane. All the words that I didn't know or were confusing, I was just looking up and writing them down on my phone so that I could eventually put them all into Anki. Reading manga was a lot of fun, and I definitely highly recommend it. I read when I went to bed, I read once I woke up, I read once I was just resting from my studies. And it's the best thing ever. My eyes didn't hurt at all, and the surface of the the ebook was like I was reading like a whole entire paper book. It was insane. It has been around 100 days since I became this inconsistent with adding new cards, and for the past 3 months I was averaging 8 cards per day, which put me at 5,197 words, only mine, and 202 words from my other core deck, and the rest of the words, about 3k-ish, from my Korutuke 6K deck and Tengo Mia deck. So in total, that put me in around 8k words only from Anki. But there's a feature in Migaku that allows you to track your known words. Whenever you see a word that you know, you just press known, and whenever you see a word that is not a word, you press ignore. So basically, a word that is not a word is like a laughter, maybe, or someone's name, or maybe a sound that someone makes when they get punched or something, and it's pretty popular in anime. So if you look at my counter, it says that I know about 11,000 words. You might think to yourself, but how did he get these 3,000 words? From where? Basically, these are words that are spelled with katakana, or they were just like super easy for me, and I decided not to put them into the Anki because they were too easy. When you press ignore, then this word won't go into the counter, obviously. Katakana words like banana, or hoteru, or pen, or baga. You see, these are words that even you probably understood. There's no meaning in putting them into Anki. To this day, I have around 400 hours of immersion, 165 hours of Anki, and that puts me at 565 hours, meaning that I spent just about an hour a day on studying Japanese. One of the reasons that I didn't quit was my Discord server. I created the server quite some time ago, and since I haven't posted any videos for more than 6 months, you probably think that it's inactive, you know? But no. Put in RIA, Nobiado, RBK, Skada. These are the people that, despite me not posting any videos, they were just, they were sharing their achievements and like funny stuff, which pushed me to study and not quit. Even only if I did Anki for like 5 minutes a day, still I could have just said like, no, it's only like 5 minutes a day, I don't want to do this today, but I had to, because if I didn't, I would have just quit. We talked almost every single day, and that pushed me even further, because I am the reason why they are in that Discord server, and I am responsible to keep that fire going. So now that I'm finally posting this update, I can tell you with 100% certainty that if you join this Discord server, you'll never feel alone on your language learning journey. There are people there that will encourage you to keep going, and you will encourage them. If you want to join a family, then I'll leave a link down below in the description. After all this time, I can confidently say that I've reached a basic level of fluency. A long time ago, I am currently sitting in between N2 and N1 level. I initially thought that getting the N3 or something will be the end of my journey, but here I am. And after I reached N3 or somewhere at about that level, I thought like, hey, that was easy. Maybe if I could get the N2 certificate, I could get a job in Japan, which will mark the end of my language learning journey. And I can tell you now that if I took a JLPT test on N2, I would 100% guarantee pass it. But what if I just lock in for the next 80 days and get the N1? It's possible for me to pass the highest level of proficiency test there is. I guess we'll see. So if you like this video, please like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. But if you did like it, then please consider subscribing. This will help me out a lot, and thank you.
じゃあ、あとは日本語で一つのことについてお話ししたいことがある。みんな、もし夢があれば、あなたの人生に一番大切なものは、その夢を追いつける。だからこそ、毎日、ちょっとずつ勉強するのが大事です。小さなことでも、少しずつ知識を増やしていけば、必ずその夢に近づけるからです。 どんなに時間がかかっても、みんな諦めずに続けるのが大切です。それで、俗に言う、逃がした魚は大きい。だからこそ、みんな、頑張ってくれ。もし、この動画を気に入ったら、このチャンネルを登録してください。